Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this session. And in this session, we will look into the phasor representation of alternating quantity. We have already seen phasor can be represented as a waveform. If you want to draw the waveform, what are the things you should know? You have to know what is the peak value and what is the time period. So what is the time period? Time period is nothing but the time taken to complete one cycle. If you know those two, so either time period or frequency, you already know the relation between the time period and frequency. That is capital T is equal to 1 by f. So if you know the frequency, then you can find out the time period. If you know the time period, then you can find out the frequency. So if the peak value and time period or frequency is given, we can draw the waveform. And also if we know the peak value, we can represent mathematically I is equal to sine omega t. So where omega is the angular velocity. So those are the two ways. Then third is the average value. We can represent this waveform as a DC equivalent. In case of a DC equivalent, it is that equivalent, average value is that equivalent if we connect that DC voltage for a certain period, it will displace x number of electric charge as it would be done by the alternating entity or the alternating voltage. That is the average value. Next one is the RMS value. That is the standard every where the alternating quantities are represented as RMS value. And what is the RMS value? RMS value is and average value, average value of alternating quantity is equal to 0.637 times the peak value. And what is the RMS value? RMS value is that DC equivalent which will have if you connect that DC for the same period as you connect to the alternating quantity, it will produce same amount of heat. That is called as a RMS value. And RMS value of alternating quantity is represented as 0.07 0.707 times the peak value. That is the fourth representation. Then one more representation we have is the phasor representation. So phasor representation is very important if you want to do the analysis, right? When you are doing the analysis, then phasor representation is the easy way to represent the alternating quantities, and we can perform the analysis very easily on top of that. So first we will understand what is a phase. Whenever we have a alternating quantity, it starts from a reference, and we say that as a reference as a 0. So in this particular this alternating voltage is starting from the this reference, and the starting point of this alternating and this reference both are same. So this is the phase. So wherever it starts, that is called as the a phase. Let us say if this alternating quantity starts from here, okay, or let me take here, that would be like pi by 4, half of that. So then if the alternating quantity goes like this, then from reference 0, so the alternating quantity is starting after pi by 4. So we call that alternating quantity has a phase of pi by 4. So what is the phase? It is nothing but it is the time from the reference. So time or angle. So we know that this x-axis can be represented as an angle as well as the time. So that is called as the phase. So you can see the definition here. Phase of a particular value of an alternating quantity is a fractional part of the fractional part of time period or cycle through which the quantity has advanced from the selected 0 position of reference. Means what? From here, what is the time? So in terms of a it is in terms of a seconds or in terms of a angle, how much it has advanced, where its 0 begins, that is called as a phase. In this particular case, the alternating quantity is starting from the reference only, so the phase is 0 here. When we are representing a alternating quantity, we should know the phase phase as well. So now you will understand better phase difference. So what is the phase difference between two alternating quantities? Let us say this is the applied voltage. You have applied a voltage to certain circuit. We don't know what circuit it is. We have applied the alternating voltage which starts from the reference. So the zero of this voltage and the reference, this is our reference, both are at the same. So this voltage is having a phase of zero phase. Now, when you apply this voltage to the particular circuit, it results in a current, and that current is it is starting late. That is, it is lagging. We call it as a lagging. If you see here, the minute we applied the voltage, we did not see the current immediately. So current takes some time. On this time period, it takes some time or the some angle. It starts after certain time, and it will start from zero. It will have the same sinusoidal nature. There is no difference. The frequency of the applied voltage and the frequency of the resulting current, both will be exactly the same. What is the meaning of that? The time period of this voltage and time period of the current would be exactly the same. Only difference is you applied the voltage, the current will not start immediately. So it will start after certain time. So we will see why this happens. We are going to do the analysis of AC circuit using different kinds of a load, that is R, L, C, RL, then RC, RLC combination. That time the current behavior would be different. So we will see. Now for now you just understand, you applied the voltage, and after an angle phi, it took about this much time. After angle phi, the current started and it reached the peak value, okay, then negative, and it completed here. So this is the one cycle of the current. Now what is the phase difference between this applied voltage and the resulting current? The phase difference is, this is the phase difference 5. So the current is having a phase of 5, and the voltage is having a phase of 0. So 5 minus 0 is 5. The phase difference between these two entities, these two alternating entities, is 5. That is called as the phase difference. Now, how do we represent this mathematically? This we already know. How do we represent? We represent it as V is equal to Vm sin omega t. So I will show the equation. So we represent lowercase v is equal to Vm sin omega t. Now, how do we represent the current I? The current is starting after some time, means after a delay of angle phi, the current is starting. So how do we represent that one mathematically? I is equal to Im sin omega t minus phi. Okay, so to understand this better, if you substitute what is the value of the current when angle is 5, when omega t is equal to 5, so you just substitute that one, you will get v is equal to Vm sin phi. So sin phi is having some value, that's why at this point, if you see, you are finding some voltage. And similarly, if I say omega t is equal to 5, 5 minus 5 is 0, sin of 0 is 0. So at angle phi, the current is 0. So you have to remember, because the current is starting late, this is represented as v is equal to Vm sin omega t, and current I is equal to Im sin omega t minus 5. So you have to say minus 5. So that is how we represent. Now, with that understanding, we will see and how do we draw the phasor. Okay, so okay. Now phasor representation. Now, whatever the understanding we have about the phase, with that we are going to draw the phasor. Now, just assume nothing is here. Just I have this OP. Okay, this is a phasor. OP. Just imagine it is on the x-axis. The length of the OM is equal to the peak value. This is the alternating quantity. The peak value of this alternating quantity is represented with the length of OP. Let us say, for example, this is the current, this is 10 amperes, and you take a 10 centimeter line. Okay, 10 centimeter line. Initially, it is on the x-axis. So the whatever the phasor, it has a projection. Okay, whatever the projection it makes, you keep on drawing those projections. So I have now just assume that there is no sinusoidal waveform. Just what you have is a phasor, and that phasor you are going to rotate anti-clockwise, okay, with the angular velocity of omega. So I will begin once again. Just assume nothing is there. You have a phasor here, okay, phasor here OP, whose length is equal to the maximum value of the alternating quantity, maximum value of the alternating quantity, and you are going to rotate that phasor, okay, anti-clockwise with the speed of omega. With that understanding, now initially it is at this position, this theta angle is 0. When that angle is 0, I will just draw a x-axis and y-axis. I will do the projection. So now the projection of this is what? 0. So initially 0. Now I will take an angle of theta. Okay, so this phasor is rotated through an angle theta. Now I will make another projection. So whatever the projection it makes here, okay, whatever the value. So what is this projection is nothing but this height. Okay, this height or the value of OM. That OM I am going to represent here. Now assume this phasor comes to this 90 degree. When it is 90 degree, so it will make a projection, that is the peak value. Then it goes on the other side. This phasor goes on the other side. You can see the projection would be like this. When this phasor becomes 180 degree, means this OP is here. What is the projection? Again 0. Now when I continue to rotate that, I'm going to get a negative half cycle. And when this phasor is from this point, when it is 270 degree, it will make a minus peak value. Okay, and then it comes back and it becomes 0. Now you can see, and this is continuous, this is rotating continuous. And if you see this, using this phasor, I can actually represent a sinusoidal voltage. Okay, now let me begin once again. Just assume there is nothing. I have a one phasor OP on the x-axis, and I'm going to take its projection, means its projection on the y-axis. So right now, if the phasor is here, OP is here, its projection on this y-axis is 0. So 0 value. Then I will take OP here at an angle theta. So OP is rotated clockwise with the speed of omega. When it is here, when it is making an angle theta, I will take a projection on the y-axis, that is OM. I will just mark OM here, and this angle is theta. When I rotate further to this point, now OP becomes 90 degree. With respect to this, 90 degree means that is a peak value, that is the projection. Now if I rotate on this direction, the projection I am getting on this x-axis, I am going to plot those. So that is how we are going to get these values. When OP becomes 180 degree, this angle become 180 degree, again the projection is 0. So you can see this is 0. And if I continue to rotate that phasor 270, now the projection on the y-axis is again the peak value, that is represented here. So when I continue to rotate that, whatever the projections I am getting on the y-axis, I will plot it, which is exactly a representation of a sinusoidal waveform. So thus if you see here, this OM value, OM can be represented as OP sine theta. So we know that sine theta is what? Sine. If I say sine theta of this, this is the OM. This OM is exactly equal as this one, opposite upon hypotenuse. So opposite is OM divided by OP, or we can say OM is equal to OP sine theta. Here OM is a representative of the the instantaneous value of the voltage. OM is equal to OP sine theta, and we know OP is what? It is the peak value. That is how OP sine theta is is equal to Im sin omega t, which is equal to I, that is the instantaneous value of the current at any particular current. So this is how we represent. In when we are representing the alternating voltages, just for your understanding, we have done this circle and everything. What you will do is just you will represent it on the one line. So if it is lagging, so you will be with reference. See, always we take the x-axis as the reference. If we have v is equal to Vm sin omega t, we just represent it on the x-axis. So that is the meaning that it is in phase with the whatever the reference we have chosen. I will show you the example. So earlier we saw the voltage and the current. So this was the voltage whose phase is 0, and this is the current whose phase is angle phi. Means the current will start after an angle phi. Now the phase difference between them is phi. How to represent this mathematically? This V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and I is equal to Im sin omega t minus phi. How to represent this voltage? Just with Vm. So this you can represent it with Vm. Later we will represent it as a RMS. So both are same, because we know that Vrms is proportional to Vm. This can be represented as a RMS value. So you can see this is the Vm. Whatever is the, suppose Vm is 240 volt, with proper scale you represent this. Okay, this would be on the x-axis. Okay, this is the reference line. The angle between Vm and that reference is 0. So that's why we are representing it on the x-axis. Now, and when you rotate this one, okay, this is a phasor which will continuously rotate. We are going to get this alternating voltage. Now, how do we represent the current? Now, current, it lags. Okay, it current lags means what? There is a delay in the start of the current. So this reference is the starting point. So this current will not start until angle of phi. So whatever the in equation you represent, I is equal to Im sin omega t minus phi. So this is the minus phi, and this also rotates clockwise. You can see here, the when it rotates through angle phi, then its value is 0. Means when we rotate this one for the angle phi, that is when it will start. Okay, from here it will start. So from here it will start, and it will whatever the phase difference it has, that is represented as a this is the lagging one. Suppose if current starts earlier, then we will be representing it on the top. Let us say even before you apply the voltage, the current starts. Means here we say it is a leading current, then we will represent it on the top. Okay, this is the reference line. Hope everybody understood this phasor representation. This is very important. This will help us in easily understanding the next module. Any questions? So this is what V is equal to Vm sin omega t. So whenever you see omega t, it is in phase. Means you are going to, this is the phase. You are going to draw it here. Then second, I is equal to Im sin omega t minus phase. It is having a lag of 5. Means there is a phase difference of 5. Whatever the minus 5, you are going to draw it from this reference. Okay, this is the angle 5. So the current will take angle phi to start. Means suppose this is 30 degree. Let us say this is 30 degree. If I say V is equal to Vm sin 30, it has got some value. At 30, it has got some value. But if I say I is equal to Im sin 30 minus 30, sorry, omega t is I'm taking as 30. 30 minus 30, it becomes 0. Means the current is 0 here. Okay, and if you want to see the peak value, again if this is shifted by 30 degree, the peak value will also get shifted by 30 degree. Instead of at 90 degree, 90 plus 30, 120 degree. So if I put here 120 degree, that is when you will see the peak. 120 minus 30, 5 is 30, 120 minus 30 is 90. That is sine of 90, that is the maximum value 1. I is equal to Im. Any questions? Any doubts here? If you understand this, then in next module will become very easy. Okay. So once again, we'll look at the syllabus. In case of a single phase circuit, in module 2, we have single phase circuits and three phase circuits. In single phase circuit, we have the analysis of the AC circuit with RLC, RL, RC, RLC for series parallel configuration, real power, reactive power, apparent power, and power factor. These are the things you are going to see. And from the exam perspective, one of these will be definitely will be asked. Most likely they will ask L, C, RL, or RC. Okay, but R and RLC are very simple. If you understand basically RLC, then it is very easy. So you need not memorize. If you have thorough understanding of how the analysis is done, then it becomes very easy. So we'll begin with the analysis of the AC single phase AC circuit with the pure resistance. AC circuits containing AC circuits containing pure resistance. So we will have a pure resistor. We have a pure resistor which is having a resistance of R, and it is connected across a alternating voltage source, and that alternating voltage source is given by V is equal to Vm sin omega t, where Vm is the peak value of this alternating voltage, and omega it is a representative of the frequency or the time period. Now, when you apply this voltage to the pure resistive circuit, it will result in a current in the circuit. Okay, and that current, because you have applied the alternating voltage, the resulting current is also alternating in nature. So, applied voltage is alternating voltage, and the resulting current is also alternating. The magnitude is given by, so we can apply the Ohm's law. So when we have the current here, the current will flow through the resistor, and there is a voltage drop of VR across the resistor. So if we apply V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and from Ohm's law we know that V is equal to, see, this is the instantaneous value of the current. Instantaneous value of the current is equal to instantaneous value of the current into R. V is equal to IR, and instantaneous current I is equal to instantaneous value of the voltage divided by R. And V value we already know. V is what? Vm sin omega t. If I substitute that, what I will get? I is equal to Vm sin omega t divided by R. Therefore, I can represent this equation as I is equal to Vm by R into sin omega t. And we know that Vm is a constant value, because uh, for a given alternating voltage, the peak value or the Vm is constant, and R, the resistance of the resistor, is constant. Therefore, Vm by R is a constant, which is a representative value of the peak value. That is, I is equal to Im sin omega t. Therefore, Im is equal to what? Vm divided by R. Vm divided by R. Suppose if Vm is 240 and resistance is 10 ohm, 240 divided by 10, that is 24. If applied voltage is V is equal to 240 sin omega t and resistance is R, then the resulting current is I is equal to Im, that is 24 into sin omega t. Now, you can see Im is representative of the peak value of the current, Vm is the peak value of the voltage. This can be represented in terms of a RMS value also. If I say, if I divide both the sides, okay, so we know that Vm is equal to Im into R. So if I take this R on this side, this will become Vm is equal to Im into R. If I divide both left hand side and right hand side with the root 2, basically 1 by root 2 is nothing but 0.707, and 0.707 into into peak value is nothing but the RMS value. So this is nothing but Vm by root 2 is nothing but the RMS value of the voltage. Im by root 2 is nothing but the RMS value of the current, and RMS value can be represented as a capital V. So when we were discussing, either you can put a suffix RMS here, or most of the time the capital V is the representative of the RMS voltage, and many times they use just the without any suffix. If the voltage or the capital I, the current is used, that is a representative of a RMS value. Therefore V is equal to I into R. This is the relationship between the voltage and the current. And if you draw the waveform, what is the current we got? What is the voltage we applied? V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and resulting current is what? I is equal to Im sin omega t, and Im is equal to Vm divided by R. And if we draw the waveform, so this is a V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and the minute you apply the voltage to the resistance, immediately the current starts. And what is the current phase? The current phase is also 0. So that is how when voltage starts, the current also starts. So both voltage and current have the same phase here, means they start, both are having a 0 phase, means we call it as voltage and current. In case of a pure resistance, they will be in phase. What is the meaning of in phase? When voltage starts, the current also starts. When voltage becomes 0, the current becomes 0. When voltage becomes peak value, the current becomes peak value. So in case of a pure resistance, voltage and current are in phase. And how do we represent this with the phasor diagram? Phasor diagram, because both are in phase. So for voltage, how do you represent? This is the voltage, right, with some scale. This would be on the x-axis, and current is also on the same x-axis. So either you can represent it as a separate, if you want to represent it on the same line. So this would be the I. So that is the meaning. The I is on x-axis as same as that of a voltage. That means the voltage and current are in phase, or the angle between the voltage and the resulting current in a pure resistance is 0. So in the exam, they will ask you to do this particular derivation. In case of perform the analysis of a AC circuit containing a pure resistance, then you have to draw this circuit diagram, you have to explain the circuit, and you have to give this relation for the current, and find what is the relation between the current and the voltage phase relation. Okay, and draw the waveform. Okay, draw the waveform. Once you draw the waveform, then you have to draw the phasor diagram. So phasor diagram is basically what you are going to represent V or the VR, and on the same line you are going to represent the current I. Now what is the power consumed in a circuit where we have the pure resistance connected to an alternating voltage? We know the equation for the power. P is equal to V into I, that is voltage into current. So every instant the power consumed is changing, right? So initially if I take at 0, V is 0, I is 0, the power consumed is 0. So if I take at this instant, it has a certain value V, this has certain value I. So V into I. If I take at peak value, both are maximum V. So power consumed is Vm into Im. Again power consumed is 0, power consumed is negative, and 0 again. So power consumed is also instantaneous. With every instant the power consumed is different. To calculate the how to represent as a average power consumed, so we can take a average value. So this is lowercase p, that is instantaneous value of power consumed in a pure resistive circuit is equal to instantaneous voltage into instantaneous current, and instantaneous voltage is represented as Vm sin omega t, and the current is represented as Im sin omega t. Therefore Vm is constant, Im is constant. We get Vm Im into Sine omega t into sine omega t, sine square omega t. And we know that sine square omega t can be represented as, this can be represented as 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. And if I multiply Vm Im into these two, I get Vm Im divided by 2. This is one part. And minus Vm Im cos 2 omega t divided by 2. And if you see here, this part, Vm is constant, Im is constant, and we have the number 2. So this part is the constant. So there is a certain part of the power which is consumed, which has a constant part, and one part we have the fluctuating. So this is why fluctuating power, because as per the time, as per the omega t, the power consumed will keep on changing. So this part is a fluctuating. So power from above, it consists of two parts, constant part and a fluctuating part. If we take the average power over a complete cycle, so how to represent? So we can take a average power for one cycle, then we'll come to know what is the total power consumed. So in order to find the average power, we will integrate it from 0 to 2 pi. Why 0 to 2 pi? That is one cycle. We will integrate the power consumed, instantaneous power consumed from 0 to 2 pi and divide it by 2 pi, so that we will get the average value. On the left hand side, this we will integrate 0 to 2 pi, 0 to 2 pi, and divided by 2 pi, and Vm Im t into d omega t. Similarly, minus, we will integrate this fluctuating part, that is 0 to 2 pi Vm Im cos 2 omega 2 divided by 2 divided by 2 pi. If you do this integration, you have to simplify this. If you do this integration, you get the value as 0. So this fluctuating part, its positive cycle and negative cycle are exactly the same. So that is why the average power consumed over one cycle becomes 0. So this fluctuating part becomes 0. And on this side, these are all constant. Vm Im divided by 2 pi into 2. And so it is basically integration of 1 d omega t is omega t 0 to 2 pi. So p is equal to Vm Im divided by 2 pi into 2. So what we are left is 2 pi minus 0. So 2 pi will get cancelled. What remains is Vm Im by 2. So what is the power consumed in a pure resistive circuit? The power consumed in the pure resistive circuit is Vm into Im divided by 2. So this 2 can be represented as root 2 into root 2. So we can represent Vm by root 2 into Im by root 2. That is, Vm by root 2 is nothing but the RMS value. Why RMS value? 1 by root 2 is 0.707 into Vm. That is the RMS value of the voltage, and this is RMS value of the current. The power consumed in a pure resistive circuit can be represented as P is equal to V into I. P is equal to V into I, where V is the RMS value of the voltage and I is the RMS value of the current. So that is the complete analysis of a pure resistance, which is very simple. And many a times that is not asked because it is very simple. Most of the time they ask the analysis of the circuit containing the pure inductance and pure capacitance, uh, series combination of resistance capacitance, series combinations of resistance and inductance. Now next is a circuit containing a pure inductance. What is the meaning of pure inductance? So inductance, I hope everybody knows what is a inductance. Inductance is the property of a coil. This is nothing but it is a coil by virtue of which it opposes the change in the current, right? So it will oppose the resistor. You have to understand the difference between the resistor and the inductance. Resistance opposes the flow of current, okay, and inductance opposes the rate of change of current. Means if it is a steady current, inductance won't oppose, but if current is changing, then it will oppose. And we know that in case of a alternating voltage which results in a current, that current is alternating one, so that alternating current is opposed by the inductance. So and L is the self inductance of this particular coil. And when we say pure inductance means this coil is made up with a certain material which is having a inductance of L. It will also have a some amount of a resistance because it's a conducting material. It will have a resistance. We, for the analysis purpose, we are assuming it is pure inductance. There is no resistance in that particular uh, coil. It will behave exactly as an inductor. So that is the meaning of pure inductance. Now a pure inductor is connected to a voltage source, and inductor is having a self inductance of L, and the applied voltage is V is equal to Vm sin omega t. And we know that when you apply a voltage to a inductor, there is it opposes the applied voltage, and the voltage is whenever there is a change in the inductance, it opposes, and there is a voltage drop here. And this voltage drop in the inductor is represented by the E is equal to L di by dt. So E is equal to L di by dt. And what is the L? L is the inductance. Di by dt is nothing but the rate of change of current. So this should be lowercase I. D lowercase I by dt, that is E or the value, and which is exactly same as what the applied voltage is. Therefore, from equation and 1 and 2, what we can write, this V is nothing but the Vm sin omega t. Vm sin omega t, that is equal to L di by dt, or L di by dt is equal to Vm sin omega t. Therefore, this should be lowercase I. Therefore, di is equal to dt. We take it on the right hand side. L will come to the numerator. So we get di is equal to Vm sin omega t into dt divided by L. That is, this is a small part of the current. If I want to find the instantaneous value of the current, then I have to integrate the left hand side and integrate the right hand side. If I integrate the left hand side, okay, integration of di is I is equal to integration of Vm sin omega t dt into divided by L. So what is the integration that we get on the right hand side? Vm is constant, L is constant. So we have to do the integration sin omega t with respect to dt, not d omega t, with respect to dt. That's why we get it as the integration of sin omega t is minus cos omega t divided by omega. And this particular minus cos omega t can be represented as sin omega t minus pi by 2. Therefore, what is the current? Current, instantaneous current I is equal to Vm divided by L omega into sin omega t minus pi by 2. And what is the maximum value that sine takes? The sine will take a maximum value of 1. Whenever it is this angle becomes 90 degree, this will become 1. So when this is 1, sine value is 1, whatever the value we get is the peak value for the current. Therefore, this Vm by L omega, okay, it is nothing but the Im, that is the maximum value of the current or the peak value of the current. Therefore, this is Im is equal to Vm divided by L omega. And similar to our understanding earlier, Im can be represented this can be represented in RMS value also. Divide left hand side and right hand side by root 2, that is Im by root 2, that is instantaneous value of the current. Vm by root 2, that is the RMS value of the voltage. Therefore, I can represent it as I is equal to V by L omega, or V by I is equal to L omega, where L is the self inductance, okay, and represented in Henry, and omega is 2 pi f. And you have to remember the ratio of voltage by current is always the opposition. Okay, V by I in case of a resistance, V by I is equal to R. In case of inductance, V by is again opposition, L omega is equal to XL. That is the inductive reactance. What is inductive reactance? Inductive reactance is the opposition offered by the inductor to the flow of the current. So this L omega is nothing but it can be represented as a XL. Now, if I say this is Im, then current is represented as I is equal to Im sine omega t minus pi by 2. If you remember, what is the, see, this is the current, I is equal to Im sine omega t minus pi by 2. And if you remember, what is the voltage we applied? V is equal to Vm sine omega t. So voltage starts from the zero reference, and the current is having a lag. So you can see current is starting from omega t minus pi by 2, means it is delayed by 90 degree. Okay, so if I draw the diagram, so here it is from equation 1 and 4. 1 is the voltage V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and this is I is equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. From equation 1 and 4, it is clear that current lags, means it is delayed. Current lags the voltage by 90 degree or pi by 2. Hence, pure inductance, always the current lags the voltage by 90 degree. So you have to remember, in case of a pure inductance, the current lags the voltage by 90 degree. So here you can see this is the waveform. This is voltage which starts from 0. V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and in case of uh, a pure inductance, the current is delayed by 90 degrees. So when voltage becomes maximum, that is when the current starts. So there is a delay of pi by 2. The current starts, and the current is maximum when the voltage is 0, and current becomes 0 when the voltage is negative peak. So you have to draw the diagram neatly. So here, when voltage is maximum, current is 0. When voltage is 0, current is maximum, and so on. So this is I is equal to, this current is I is equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. And we know that Im is equal to Vm by omega L. This is what we got from the previous equation, or Vm by Im is equal to omega L. Vm by Im is equal to omega L is also E is equal to V by I. V is the RMS value, I is the RMS value of the current, and that is the opposition offered. Whenever we say V by I ratio, V by I ratio in any circuit is the opposition offered to the flow of the current, that is represented as XL, which is called as a inductive reactance. Therefore, XL is equal to omega L is equal to 2 pi FL. Because omega is equal to 2 pi F, we know XL is equal to 2 pi FL. It is represented in terms of ohms. Okay, XL is the opposition offered by the inductor to the flow of the current, and it is represented in ohms. And what is the power consumed in a pure inductance? So power consumed in a pure inductance and pure capacitance is 0. In the exam, they might ask you a question like either they will say perform the analysis of a AC circuit supplied with the alternating voltage to the pure inductance, or they might say prove that the power consumed in a pure inductive circuit connected to alternating supply is 0. So power consumed in capacitor is 0, power consumed in a pure inductor is 0. You, whatever the question is, you have to do the complete analysis. So power is equal to, we know the instantaneous value, lowercase p is equal to V into I. Okay, and instantaneous value of voltage, instantaneous value of current, V is Vm sin omega t, and I is Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. Therefore, and we know that this sin omega t minus pi by 2 is represented represented as minus cos omega t. So you can write it again as minus Vm Im sin omega t into this is cos omega t. And multiplying this both the denominator and numerator by 2, we get it as minus Vm Im 2 sin omega t cos omega t becomes sin 2 omega t divided by 2. Now, if we want to find the average power consumed in one cycle, then we have to integrate it from 0 to 2 pi and divide it by 2 pi. So if we do the integration of this particular instantaneous value of the power consumed, 0 to 2 pi divided by 2 pi minus Vm Im sin omega t divided by 2. If you simplify this one, you will get the average power consumed in a pure inductive circuit is 0. So hence the power absorbed by pure inductance is 0. So just to revise, first, whenever the question is asked, the question can be asked to do the analysis of a circuit with pure inductance or prove that power consumed in pure inductance is 0. So circuit, you draw the circuit diagram, and this is the phasor diagram. Phasor diagram, this VL is the voltage across the inductor, and the current is lagging by 90 degrees. So this particular current has to rotate for 90 degree, then the current will start. So this is how we represent. This is VL, that is the voltage across the inductor, and this is the current through the inductor which is lagging by 90 degree. This is how we represent. So you have to draw the circuit diagram. You have to then you have to say V is equal to Vm sin omega t is the applied voltage, and in case of an inductor we know that the voltage that is induced in the inductor is E is equal to L di by dt, and which is equal to, it counterbalances the applied voltage. Therefore L di by dt is equal to Vm sin omega t, and you get the equation for the di, integrate on both the side, you get the value of the instantaneous current, and once you simplify, you get the equation I is equal to Vm by L omega sin omega t minus pi by 2. So this equations show that, so this is a I is equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. So this indicates that the current is lagging the voltage, applied voltage, by 90 degree, and this Vm by L omega is nothing but the peak value, and the phase angle, it lags by 90 degree. The current lags the voltage by 90 degree, and we know the ratio Vm by Im, that is V by I is equal to XL, that is the opposition that is offered to the flow of the current, and XL is called as a inductive reactance, and it is given as XL is equal to omega L, which is equal to 2 pi FL. So all these equations are important when we solve the problems. Now, how to find the power consumed in the pure inductance? The instantaneous value of the P is equal to instantaneous value of V and into instantaneous value of the current I. Substitute that equation and integrate this instantaneous power over one cycle, 0 to 2 pi divided by 2 pi, and you get it the power consumed as 0.